It's time for me to do my own nails.
So first, we have to debulk most of this product. Get rid of any lifting if there is any. And kind of just smooth everything down to fill them in. Because I'm just going to do the same color again. I'm not going to cut my nails done because I'm going to attempt to grow them out. I'm not making any promises though because I'll probably change my mind. Okay, so I'm using a soft tip flame. I already did most of my prep, but my cuticle prep, but I'm using a soft tip Russian flame to create a pocket so that I can see exactly what I need to cut and what I don't need to cut when I go in with the cuticle clippers, and then that way I'm able to get as close to the cuticle as possible when I apply the gel. For my shape, I'm going to keep them rounded just because that's like the shape that I prefer, and like I said, I'm going to try to grow them out to get them to be like a medium almond shape. Now that I've prepped all my cuticles, we are going to make sure we have all the dust off, clean the nails really good. Okay, now that they are clean, we are going in with our primer, the one and only Protein Bond. This is the primer that I use across the board for all my products, for all my services.
For your service?
Yes, for all my services. Okay, so now that we primed, so I was using Accents X Bond as my base, but I recently switched to the American Creator Base Gel, and chef's kiss. You can get this from Nail Mart. I'll make sure that I put all the information in the caption with my discount code and everything. This is so good. So I'm gonna do a very thin layer of this and then cure it. So it's like the thinnest layer of it. You literally just...
That's good.
Yeah. So we're doing the thinnest layer. And then we're gonna cure that. So now that I applied a thin layer, you can see exactly where I did it. I only did it up until like where that is. So I didn't do it all the way to the cuticle, but you can. I just personally don't. I don't have a specific reason why I don't. I just don't. So I cured the base gel, and then now we're gonna go in with our slip layer. So the slip layer does not get cured. I am doing Trinity's SC2 from Accents. So the slip layer you do not cure. So we just do a thin layer of that. Get as close to the cuticle as possible. And this one we're not gonna cure because this is gonna help us, it's gonna help us, or it's gonna help that bigger dollop of gel just glide easier. Cause it's not, the slip layer is gonna almost be like a guide for it on like where it needs to stay. That's why you want to make sure you don't get it on the skin, you don't get it on the cuticle area, because in that way that's where it's going to flood to. So we have our slip layer on, and like I said, we are not going to cure this, and then we're going to go in with the bigger bead, and we are just gonna glide. I don't know if you guys can see that, but we are going to push it to and towards the cuticle, and we're just gonna glide that from left to right. One second, Mama. Left to right, not yet. Till we get about 3/4 of the way down, or a little bit more. It just kind of depends on how much product we have. Sorry, that was probably way out of frame. We are going to go in with our liner brush. Make sure we kind of dip that a little bit into the gel, and then we are going to bring the rest of that product down. And this is just so that we get a thin flush application near the edge and the tip. So we want to make sure we bring that down. You don't want to drag all the way up from here. You just want to go from like there. Bring that down. Make sure you get it all the way close. This is how you can get it like real precise, way close to the edge without it like flooding over.
Oh, is this a sticker?
One second, Mommy. And there you go. You can see right there. And perfect. Light, you always want to use the light as a guide to let you know, like, make sure that it's nice and smooth. I'll use my forehead as the background. Perfect. And then now we cure. And yes, we are going to go in one finger at a time. You are going to feel a little bit of a heat spike. I'm super used to it. It actually kind of like hurts. Good. We are going to cure this. And we cure one finger at a time, because if you don't cure one finger at a time, like if I was to do the index finger and then directly move on to the middle finger, the index finger, it's self-leveling. So the gel can move around, and then it's going to float all over the cuticle. It's going to float all over the sides, the finger, and everything like that. So we always want to go in one finger at a time, give it a full minute cure, and then you move on to the next finger. So now this one is fully cured. You can see that light guide all the way down smoothly. Use my forehead as the background. It's not completely flat. We will always want to give it a little bit of an apex. And now I'm ready to move on to the rest of my nails. We are all done with my left hand. Now I'm going to move on to my right hand. And it's honestly the same process. It just takes me a little bit longer to do my right hand. See? All done.